Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So it's almost here. Neo Day is finally coming up in a couple more days. So I predict that this week's gonna be super volatile with Neo stock. And for all the long-term shareholders, I know that short-term games can be exciting or short-term losses could be very like depressing and stuff like that. But you shouldn't really worry about it. The way that I'm looking at Neo stock right now is just how many shares I'm holding, right? And I want to increase the number of shares that I'm holding in Neo stock. And this could apply to any stock other than Neo, any stock that you believe in long term. That right now, short term, just phase it out, right? You don't care about the short term right now. You care about how many shares you have right now and how many shares you want to accumulate over time. Because if you believe in a company for the long term, you want to buy as many shares as you can, as often as possible, and just keep buying as much as you can if you believe in the company and if you believe the company is great and if you believe the company will dominate for many years, 5, 10 years into the future. And I believe that's what's going to happen with Neo stock. I believe Neo stock will dominate the EV market for the long term, and that's what I plan on doing. So right now, I don't care what the price is, right? The price is irrelevant to me right now. I care what the price is going to be in 5 years and 10 years plus from now. That's what I care about in Neo stock. So as you can see, I have 150 shares and I plan on buying more shares over time and accumulating as many shares as possible. So in the future, when Neo stock or Neo as a company becomes huge, maybe if it doubles or triples or 5x's or 10x's, whatever it is, right? Whenever it becomes a huge established company in the world, which I believe it will be, eventually I'll be able to profit off just selling calls, and that's the goal for all my companies, right? I plan on trying to get hundreds of shares. So right now I have 150 shares. I'm trying to get to 200 shares, not as fast as possible, but slowly accumulating them over time. And that's what I plan on doing with all the companies that I have. I want to have hundreds of shares in each of these companies. So once they're big dogs, I can start selling calls and making tons of the weekly income from it. And whenever I feel like I'm done with the company, I see the company is slowing its growth down, I can sell off, or I can just keep selling the calls for the income and making tons of money off of it. And that's the goal for me. And I don't know what your guys' goals are, but if you're in buying Neo, then I believe that most people that are buying Neo believe that this stock will be really, really big in the future. And just be prepared for the volatility. Any bad news, Neo, for any company that's like that has the hype behind it, like Tesla stock. If you looked at Tesla stock in the past, there was many times where you see Tesla stock goes up right here and it goes down from what is it? Let's say 180 bucks, and it goes all the way down to less. It loses like 50, 60% of its value. And if you believe in Tesla stock and you just held it instead of selling it off up here, like you could have sold it off at 180 bucks and you would have lost hundreds of gains, hundreds of percentages of gains. You could have tripled, quadrupled your money if you would just held on. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I've ever had, is just selling off of my stock. That's what you don't want to do, is just sell off of stock because of what's happening in the short term. You care about what's going to happen in the long term, and that's the goal. Long term gains, guys. Long term gains, short term gains, not it's not for me. Long term gains, that's where you make the most money, in my opinion, and that's what works for. It's been working for me. Just look at the shares that you have and just worry about the shares right now, and just keep buying as much as you can at the best prices that you can. Whenever you see dips, buy some. That's my strategy. Remember, I'm no financial expert, right? I'm no advisor or anything. I'm just a regular guy, and I'm just showing you guys my journey, because I do have stock. I have about $7,000 into it, and I plan on buying way more than that. And hopefully you guys stay tuned for the long journey, because I'm probably going to be covering these stocks for a long time. Neo stock being my number one holding so far, and maybe it'll stay my number one holding for a long time unless I find another big player. I'm really looking at Jumia and MP Materials. Square stock's a big one. Dropbox is a big one. Tesla stock's huge already. I will only buy Tesla when I see some dips in the market. I have a good position for my portfolio size. Obviously, if I had more money, I'll probably buy more of Tesla. I believe Tesla's going to be even bigger than it is right now. Tesla's still growing massively, and it's a huge company already, right? And I have all these other stocks. Just stay tuned, because I will keep buying up NEO stock, and I keep buying up all these companies, and eventually I would want to have hundreds of shares of each company so I can start selling calls out of the money calls so I can profit off of it weekly while still holding on to that growth stock, because I believe that NEO stock will be growing for a long time, at least for the next 3 years. Will be 100% plus in growth. Like NEO is going to be growing at an exponential rate right now, at least for the foreseeable future. 150,000 cars next year, 300,000 cars. Actually, 150,000 cars this year. It's already 2021. It's crazy how time's going by. And I'm probably going to be recording and posting as many videos as possible, so stay tuned. I'll be treating it kind of like a little business I have. Right now, my portfolio is at 22,800. Gonna screenshot this and I'm gonna save it until the end of the year, and I'll probably make a video about where I started and where I ended, because most likely I will be depositing more money into this portfolio. And stay tuned, lots of great things, and be prepared for volatility for NEO stock and any other of your growth stocks. Be prepared for volatility and handle it, and if you believe the company is good, don't sell your stock. Do not sell your stock. Stay in it for the long term. And that's it for today.